Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it's that time of the month again, where we rank the legends over here on the Japanese side of the game. So, what you guys sort of see on screen is similar to last month's tier list, but I have made a few changes. So, doing my global tier list as well as my Japanese tier list from last month, I did get a lot of feedback from you guys to sort of separate the God tier. Now, I was always happy to do that, and I actually agree with pretty much everything that most of you guys said. The downside to that was making the tier list sort of fit into the screen. So what I've decided to do, I've decided to say stuff it. The characters at the bottom, you guys don't really need to worry about that anyway. We'll sort of scroll down so you guys can see them anyway. And at the end, I will put up a picture for you guys so you can actually see the entire tier list. You can pause the video, you can suss it out there, and you can sort of like have a rough estimation or like have a rough guide of like what you guys can actually do. Now, before we do continue, just be mindful that this is my personal opinion playing the Japanese side of the game. I am still fairly new on Japan. I have been playing since the Onigashima Trio release, which is like 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. But I have been playing global for, I think I hit my 1600 day on global the other day. Something like that. So around 4 years over there on the global side of the game. I do have all of the legends on Japan. Well, between my Japan and my global account, I have every legend. So I have played with all of these legends. I do pretty much know how they work. And we do have a few extra additions to the tier list. But as you guys can see, I have added 2 new tier lists. I have absolutely broken, or I'm actually just going to put broken slash most valuable. These particular characters, if they find their way into this tier list, like into this tier, they are the characters you want to do. And if you have them, max them out ASAP. I have added another tier under God tier called Amazing. So like Amazing, like for this particular tier, I sort of wanted to separate it from just S tier captains. It's sort of characters that can find their way into this tier that can be used as a captain. Very good captains, or are also very good subs, but they're not specific to just being a captain. Like for example, if we take a look at Sugar, right? Sugar, whenever you're running Sugar, you're pretty much running her as a captain so you can get the most out of her captain ability. But in stuff like Kazuna, she's really, really good because she can get that chain multiply buff. So for her, she'd slide up into the Amazing tier because she can pretty much do something that no one else can. The rest of the sort of tier sort of breaks it down to S tier captain, S tier sub, A tier captain, A tier sub. These particular 2 tiers that I have included here have sort of just like been a way for me to separate these particular characters, as there are a lot of characters that can still see play as a captain or a sub. Now, these particular characters may move as well. These particular characters may move as well. I'm not saying that they're not going to. But, and characters here might move as well. But, if we scroll down, I kind of wanted to sort of have a look at these 2 particular tiers just down here. If we go down here, we go down to needs a 6+ or Dookie and Rare Recruit tier. So these particular characters here are all characters that you can pretty much replace with Rare Recruits nowadays. They're like, it's not that they're bad characters, it's just that like you can pretty much find a Rare Recruit that can do what they can do or better. So with these guys here, I do think they need 6+. I would put them here, but I think they're better than pretty much every character in this particular tier. So, before we do start on the new characters, huge shout out to the tier list maker. I will leave a link for my tier list. I created this tier list, so if you guys want to create your own, I will leave a link in the description, as well as a big shout out to the OPTC database for the images provided. Huge shout out to the Discord as well. I did get the Boa and the Perona image from there. I'll leave a link to all of them in the description below for you guys as well. Make sure to go check out the Discord. Join the Discord if you guys are looking for a great place to chat. And if you need help with team building, the database is the place for you. But don't forget to smash a like on this video, guys. And if you are new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button. But further ado, let's dive in. Now, the big thing that I like to rank legends on is power, speed, and usability. They're the big 3 for me. How good is their special? How good is their captain ability? How usable they are in content? Like, they can be absolutely busted, but if they're not good in particular pieces of content, like, what's the point of using them, right? But look, if they're busted, they're usually pretty good. And then speed. How fast can they clear content? How reliable can they clear content? That is the big thing for me. That is the big thing. So, let's take a look at the God tier. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's start down the bottom. Let's start right down the bottom here, and let's see if we need to make any changes. Looking at the needs to 6+ or the Dookie tier, I feel like everything like that's in here is kind of like justified. The Fujis, you're never using the Fujis. Like, this Big Mom you can use, but like, why? Dogstorm sucks. This, the legends from the movie, Shiki and Zephyr, they suck. Enel's outdated. Magellan with his poison, I guess, is okay, but with V2 Magellan around, like, I couldn't tell you the last time I used this Magellan, basically, straight up. Kizaru, Whitebeard, as good as they are in PvP, this is a regular tier list playlist, let's just be mindful of that. This Croc, give Croc a V2, Bandai, what are you doing? Give Croc a V2. This Boaz Dookie, like, I guess you could say that this Lucci has an okay support. Sabo sucks, the Kuzan's good in PvP, that's about it. Sengoku, we're going to move into support. Sengoku actually has a really, really good support. 2 times for that character. Definitely a good support. This Mihawk, he's pretty trash, to be honest. You don't really use this Mihawk. Not anymore, anyway. Looking at the rare recruit tier characters, let's see if any of these characters can be moved down. I don't think they can be moved down. They're all pretty much, like, stock standard. Like, these particular characters, there's rare recruits that are just better than them. These particular characters here, you could probably find a rare recruit replacement, but at the same time, I would still say that they're a good option for you. In the support category, these particular characters here, all are basically just used for their supports. No other reason. Buggy has a pretty good support too, so I'd slide him down here. But look, Buggy's Buggy. You guys know why you're using Buggy. You're using Buggy to drop, to sort of dupe drops. In the content requires a niche category, this particular category is designed for like just for specific teams or specific pieces of content. So, I'm going to start with these 2 characters here. These 2 have definitely been moved up into the content required. I think I had them in, like, Dookie. The Katakuri and Brook combo as a global player, you guys know how amazing that was. If that ever comes back and needs to be done again, for Kazuna, for zombie teams, these particular 2, they could do things that the God tier category just couldn't. Like, it was simple as that. Honestly, this Dofi needs a 6+. I'm going to drop him down here. It's not even that, like, the content requires, it's just if you want to do it. And I guess it is niche, but, like, you're just never doing that. For the same reason Mihawk. He needs a 6+ super badly, so I'm going to drop him. Usopp's good for Kazuna, so when the content requires. Same with his Big Mom, she's amazing in Kazuna. This Rayleigh is actually pretty good when content requires. This Robin's good if you need the damage null. The bind and orb boost that is provided through Judge is actually pretty nice. Jack is an XP booster. Okay, this Katakuri needs a 6+. We're going to drop him as well. Same reason I'm dropping Dofi. He just gets cucked way too easily with normal attacks only. He, like, was good when he first came out, but nowadays he's just like, nah. Alright, let's take a look. The Blackbeard, yeah, when content requires, I feel like that's pretty fair. And, Beach, definitely can. I feel like Pudding needs to be moved up. I feel like I only use Pudding, like, when the content requires me to use Pudding. And I feel like that's probably why I put her here. But she's really, really good. Like, she's really good. I feel like she's at least an A-tier sub. Like, I feel like she's at least an A-tier sub. Mainly because, like, she can just, like, get past, like, the, interrupts. So if there's, like, an attack up interrupt, you can easily use Pudding. And she works very, very nicely. Like, very, very nicely. Smoker... Honestly, Smoker's Dookie. Smoker needs a 6+. Definitely needs a 6+. In my opinion, Hawkins as well. Dookie. Absolute Dookie for the same reason I put Katakuri there. Yeah. Like, you never get this attack down from, well, wait. You never get the attack down from Smoker, and you, like, can never use Hawkins. Like, you can use Hawkins if you want to, if you like the playstyle, but, like, bruh. He Dookie. Don't even try and convince me he's not. Like, he's just not good. He's not good at all. Along, when the content requires with these special reverse is great. The Beach has that, like, big father effect, which is awesome. And yeah, I feel like the content required niche category is pretty much on par where it needs to be. Alright, Solid Hybrid. Kuma, only because he's strength is literally the only reason he's here. He's pretty bad, honestly. Like, they did not do the boy Kuma justice, to be honest. This Blackbeard is a Solid Hybrid. Same with Enel for Psy teams. This Blackbeard here, I guess you could argue to me, is a solid hybrid. He's technically a 5x captain, but for me, bruh, he Dookie. He Dookie. He takes way too long to charge up. Like, way too long. Way too long. But, I guess, like I said, like, if I'm going to put this Blackbeard here, I'm going to put this Blackbeard here, right? Like, they're pretty much the same to me, and I prefer to use V2 Blackbeard over the dual Blackbeard, so I guess we have to sort of give him the credit where credit is due. Why did you turn off? Can you not? Thank you. Alright, support category obviously needs to stay the same because all these characters have good supports. We might slide some characters down from there. This Lucy, 6+ Lucy, has a really, really good limit break expansion, so he's great. This Whitebeard, honestly, you're never really running him anymore. So I feel like I'm going to slide him down to support, purely because he does 3 turns of despair removal on ace characters and like Marco characters, very, very strong. For powerhouse teams, like, let's be real, you're running Kaido if you got Kaido. Stampede Luffy, definitely a solid hybrid option because of his despair and his paralysis removal. This Luffy here is pretty much solid, yeah, solid hybrid. I guess CatDog for cerebral teams, but nowadays, like, you're not really running, like, CatDog for the cerebral. So, like, if anything, you're running him as, like, a sub. And I guess you're pretty much using, like, rare recruits over him, to be honest. So, let's put him in rare recruit tier. I feel like Cracker deserves to slide down here, too. Cracker still, like, does a lot. Cracker's really, really good. But, honestly, I couldn't tell you the last time I used Cracker. Like, there's just rare recruits that just do what he does better. Block Orbital was great. You do need, like, powerhouse-driven... Like, you need your captains to be, like, Wano Law. But he's a chain booster, and he's not even the highest chain boost anymore. And a color affinity booster, like, 1.75. It's just dookie. You're not using Cracker. Let's be real. Like, let's be real. Like, and I'm going to start being a bit more ruthless with this tier list because I have a few more tiers. So, these particular characters down here, like, on Japan, like, I have not... I have leveled up... Neko Inu. Because they were really good for Dofi. Like, they were really good for Dofi. Their switchability is actually something that you can't really get. So, I'm going to put them in when content requires. When content requires is a good spot for them. I guess you could argue the same for the Cracker, but, like, I haven't leveled up my Cracker in Japan, and I've been doing shit just fine. These particular characters here, I have not leveled any of them up. None of them. None of them at all. Yeah, none of them. The Sport, I've leveled up the Sport, and then these characters here, I've only leveled up when I need them. Even Solid Hybrid, like, I haven't leveled up these characters at all, either. Lucy, I got his support up, but he is a good option. Nami and Robin, that's a lie, actually. I leveled Nami and Robin up because, like, they're actually quite good. And, if anything, like, they should be in, like, A tier sub. Alright, let's have a look up here. We'll slide up now. Okay, we're going to make some big changes here. We're going to make some big moves. Halloween Shanks is a solid hybrid option nowadays. Again, you're not really running him as, like, as a sub anymore. You run him as a hybrid captain, so that's that. This particular Shanks nowadays is kind of like rare recruit tier. Block or manipulation is great. 2.25 attack for that color and a chain boost is really, really good. But, like, it's very rare you're using this. I guess we'll put him in content requires and niche because he is better than, like, all of these characters here, in my opinion. Especially as a sub. Like, especially as a sub. 80 subs. What do we got? Pudding definitely deserves to be there. This Kuzan. I couldn't tell you the last time I used this Kuzan. For the same reason that I put Cracker down here, I'm going to drop him to rare recruit tier. Just for the same reason Cracker's here. He's an orb booster, though, which is infinitely better in my opinion. But he doesn't have the block orb manipulation, so I feel like he deserves to be on the same tier as Cracker. Onami, A sub, just because, like, she's really good. Komurasaki's great. This 6+ Sabo. These three, they did really, really well with their 6+s. Really, really well. Garb, definitely an A tier sub. Kid is an A tier sub nowadays. I guess you could argue Kid is more of a solid hybrid, but for Dex teams, he's at 2.5 times attack boost, which is nice. Really, really nice. This Sabo on strength teams works really, really well. He's mainly used as a hybrid captain for, like, big damage. But, yeah. I guess that's a good spot for him. V1 Shirishari is amazing still. Laffy, really, really good. And Mihawk Prona. That AT sub, I feel like it's a pretty good spot for them, to be honest. If we go up to A tier captain, let's just scroll up to S tier sub and S tier captain now. A tier captain. I feel like all of these characters here are pretty much justified why they're here. I feel like maybe we could drop... Magellan has paralysis removal in his kit, which is great. I feel like Vivi Rebecca could probably be dropped into A tier captain because you're mainly using them as a captain nowadays. Their sub capability, is really, really good though. Like, really, really good. No, I've got to keep them up here. Just because, like, they can remove the special one and then use the special one themselves. Like, absolutely wild what they can do. Absolutely wild. Alright, I'm going to move Bardo Cavendish down into, like, A tier sub. Mainly because, like, Bardo Cavendish, you're not really using if you have Fire Tank Pirates, like, ever. But, in saying that, they still have a very good switchability, and they're still very, very good. V1 Vivi Becca definitely deserves to be in S tier sub. Same with Corazon, same with Rayleigh, definitely need to stay there. Sabo Koala is incredible. Still. Sanji Pudding is really, really sweet. Submask. I guess you're never using Submask as a captain anymore. Luffy Zoro only ever used as a sub. Chopper, amazing sub. Kind of want to drop Magellan into A tier captain. If anything, like, whenever you're running Magellan, using him as captain. Because of his paralysis removal, he's, like, really, really good. Like, really, really good. This Katakuri, actually, I'm going to drop into Solid Hybrid as well. I think he's pretty much the same as Halloween Shanks. Same with the Sweet 3. Sweet 3, I definitely think that they're a solid hybrid option nowadays. Definitely a solid hybrid option. Just for their despair removal, really. That's really the only reason you're using it. You're never running two. You're never ever running two Sweet 3s. Like, let's be real. Snake Man, you can run two. Like, you'd want to hybrid these two up together, but you could easily run two Laws with, like, Mihawk on the team. Same with Mihawk, and then run a Law on the team. That's not an issue whatsoever, because they have such an amazing special ability. This guy has an amazing special ability, but it's just, it's not, like, it's, I don't know why, but this is just infinitely better, like, infinitely better. Other than that, I think everything's pretty much good here. Kaido, I'm not a fan of. I would love to drop Kaido, but, like, like, when Kaido works. This Zora is amazing if you duel him up. This Akainu, I guess you could probably drop into Solid Hybrid nowadays as well. You can easily run two Akainus and get a lot of damage output, but, like, ideally, you're running him like a verse ace or something like that. Like, that's how you really want to run him nowadays. I feel like we probably don't need this amazing category. I guess we'll just, like, I guess we'll see how we go, but, like, I feel like we just don't need it. I just feel like we don't need it. Yeah, actually, I feel like we do need it. I feel like we do. AT Captain, I'm going to drop Kaido down to AT Captain from the S tier. Purely because, like, Kaido only works when he works, right? But when he works, it's great. Like, it's really, really good. But his usability isn't that amazing. But all these characters here that you see here, I guess, actually, I'm going to drop Bullet down to Solid Hybrid. Mainly because, like, on Japan, like, I haven't leveled up Bullet. Straight up. Like, and I'm not going to level up Bullet. Like, to get his skulls, it's too much. If you've got Bullet, great. Like, use Bullet. But, like, tell me the last time you ran 2 bullets. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. Like, I couldn't tell you last time I ran 2 bullets. So Solid Hybrid's a good spot for him. Yeah, these AT captains, all these AT captains I've leveled up on Japan. Like, they're definitely worth your time. I feel like everything from, like, even, like, A tier sub upwards is definitely worth your time to level up. Kizaru, definitely S tier sub. I want to move Toki up into Amazing. Toki and, the kids, definitely going to move up into Amazing. Purely because they can just do something that no one else does. And a 3.5 times attack, 3.5 times orbs is nothing to shrug at. And you can hybrid them up with, like, the Straw Hat combo. It just does some absolutely bonkers things. Some bonkers things. Looking at S tier sub before we continue, I don't think we need to move anything else. Germ is a great captain, though, but, like, you're really running them as a sub to get around the captain swap. That's really the only reason you're using them. Alright, so if we have a look at S tier captain now, these particular characters are all very, very good. There is a couple of things that I want to change, though. I'm going to move the Fighting Pirates up into Amazing. After, like, playing with them around on Global, I don't have them on Global, but, like, I need to give them more respect. And I do think they're better than an S tier captain, purely because they work amazingly as a sub. Shooter's getting a lot more respect on Japan. Driven is absolutely freaking insane on Japan. Like, and that's a big reason why I want to move them into Amazing. Definitely worth the Amazing category. No issues whatsoever moving him up. Sugar, I'm going to move Sugar up as well, because, like, Sugar just works so good on high damage teams. She can still get around a lot of stuff as well, which is really, really nice. Look, I don't really run Sugar as a captain anymore. So I guess for that reason, you just probably argue that she's an S tier sub. She got a really good super type, though. She got, like, an amazing super. That's hard. That's really hard. That's really hard. I really want to put her here. Like, I really want to put her here. We're going to leave her here for now. Kid, I'm definitely going to move Kid up. Kid, I have not given enough respect to. Kid is phenomenal. I love using Kid. He's just he's a weapon. Verse Kaido, definitely going to be moving up into Amazing. Purely because of his attack boost and his orb boost carryover. Really, 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 really good unit. I do think Big Mom is still better than Kaido. But in saying that as well, like, I've got to give Kaido that credit. Like, I've got to give him the credit that he can do. Mainly because Strength and Int are very, very powerful. And he's still really good. I couldn't tell you last time I really used him. But he's definitely an option. He has been an option for me. And I've just gone elsewhere. And he's Driven too. That's a big thing too. Driven and Powerhouse. Odin, pretty much you're only ever using Odin as, like, a hybrid option nowadays, to be real. If anything, you're only using him as a sub. Like, that's where I mainly use Odin. But, like, you could easily hybrid him up with Roger and stuff like that. These, S tier captains, like, if you can hybrid them up with some, like, on the higher categories, they work amazingly well. And I do think Odin's better than all of these A tier captains. Like, I think he's just way better. Especially when you can make him work. If you can make him work, he's very, very good. Marco, S tier captain. Mainly, like, you can run 2 Marcos pretty easily. King and Queen work amazingly together. I'm going to leave them together. I'm not going to move them up just because I never run them as subs. I'm only ever running them as a captain. Lucci, as much as I love Lucci, I always like to run like the combination of Lucci and Queen. So I don't think he deserves to be an amazing, but he definitely could be put there. I just don't really run him that much. Alright, taking a look at the God tier. Some things that I want to change. We're definitely going to be dropping Luffy Sanji to amazing. You can run them as a captain, but I only ever use this character as a sub nowadays. Like, their switchability is still incredible. You don't need two of them. The overheal is nice, but like, there's just other characters that can do it. For that, actually, too, I'm going to move V2 Shirashori up into amazing. Like, I'm never using them as a captain. Let's be real, actually. So I'm going to keep them in S tier sub. They are the epitome of an S tier sub. I think they're, like, one of the best subs in the entire game. Like, easily the best sub in the entire game, actually, in my opinion. Like, very, very easily. Sanji Pudding. I kind of want to drop Sanji Pudding just because I don't use them that much, but, like, still got to give them credit, you know? Still got to give them the credit they deserve. I have to think about that one. Looking at God tier. Alright, God tier. I want to drop, Wano Law. No, I love Wano Law. He's so freaking good, man. Big Mom, I'm going to drop into amazing, just because I don't really use her that much anymore. She's very good as a sub, though. She's very good as a leader. You can still easily hybrid her up very, very nicely. But, looking at, like, verse Whitebeard, I think verse Whitebeard is just infinitely better. Like, he's way better. Way, way better. Onigashima Luffy. Onigashima Luffy I want to drop into amazing. The only reason Onigashima Luffy's so good is because Sabo Ace exists. And I just don't think he's nearly as good as Roger. Simple as that. Honestly, I like Kid more. I actually like Kid more. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to give Luffy credit where it's due, but he's just he's boring. He's Unga Bunga damage. Absolute Unga Bunga damage. And if I need to run a Luffy and I have the option of like Luffy or Straw Hats, I'm picking Straw Hats every day of the week. Absolutely. Alright, broken and most valuable. Let's move up some characters to there. Interesting. I do want to move my boy Shanks down. Oh, it hurts. That hurts. I have to either move him down or Shanks' crew. And honestly, I use Shanks' crew more. So for that reason, I am going to drop verse Shanks. For as good as he is, I am going to drop him down. Just because, like, oh, man, like, he's so good. He's so good. I do think he's just amazing, though. I do think he's just amazing, mainly because he's, like, normally, on a side team, I will run Wano Law, which, like, and then Shanks' crew as well. The two of them together as well, like, I just feel like that's just a better combo. And then because he has Roger, it's like, Roger's always going to be your captain, right? So, I'm going to drop him to amazing, and it hurts to do that. It hurts. It hurts. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it. I have to drop him or Shanks' crew, and I honestly, out of the two, I do think Shanks' crew is just a better unit. So, do Shanks' crew first. Shanks' crew just has infinite value in so many game modes. Alright, other than that, I think everything's pretty much good here. Everything's pretty much good. Ace is like the best free spirit captain if you're not including Roger. He's the best shooter captain. Besides maybe Fighting Pirates. Fighting Pirates are really, really, really good. Honestly, like, I kind of want to do that, but like, no. Alright. So, in broken and most valuable, the first character we're going to move up here is no surprise, is Roger. Roger's still the best character on both versions of the game. As it goddamn should be, though. Like, as it should be. His weapon. It's Roger. Goldie Roger. It's Roger. Absolute monster. Amazing hybrid option. The big downside to Roger is you're never using him as a sub. So, like, that's where he sort of loses value. But at the same time, like, if you have Roger, you can pretty much clear every piece of content in the game. Like, there's no issues clearing content if you have Roger. Straight up. The next character I want to put into broken, most valuable tier, you global players will know what I'm talking about here, is Ace Sabo. Ace Sabo, infinite value with Ace Sabo. Despair removal with Ace, special bind removal with Sabo as captains, healing on perfects, bind, despair, and special bind with their special, block orb manipulation, regular orb manipulation, adjacent orb manipulation, depending on their switches, an orb boost, 2 point, like, they're so good. They have such good, supports, too. Like, you can easily use, if we scroll down to the support tier here, you have, like, this Whitebeard support, you have, like, Koala support. You don't need the Koala support, but it is what it is. This Whitebeard support is so nice on them. You can use Jozu, the rare recruit Jozu, for attack down, which is just awesome. And there's another character. I missed the 3, I think it is. He does shooters as well. Their orb boost is only for free spirit and shooters, what a lot of people like to knock about. But like free spirit and shooters have so much representation nowadays, like so much rep. So that's also something to note. Cool. All right, I'm pretty happy with how this is going so far. Yeah. So all these characters here work great as captains as well, by the way. That's why they're in amazing. And I do think they're a little bit better than like these characters here. So this Reiju, you're pretty much only ever using this Reiju when you are like needing poison and captain. Lucci, as good as Lucci is, you have so many quick dex options. And honestly, if it's me, like I'd rather run Queen. But like I do love hybriding them up. And honestly, I'd rather run Law. As for that, I think that's pretty good. Straw Hats, I think, is God tier. Removing 5 turns of like any debuff is just so good. The big downside to these guys is they are all of the Straw Hats, which is hard to make them work on a team. But when they work on a team, they're very, very good. Damage reduction, defense up removal, delay, healing, matching orbs, block orb manipulation. They're super good, like super good, and an attack boost. They're super good. Super, super good. I don't really run them as a captain anymore too much, but like you can definitely make them work as a captain. Definitely if you're hybriding them up with something like Roger. And then you can abuse Shiri. Verse Whitebeard, I do think is better than Verse Shanks, so I do want to keep him here. I do think he's the best int captain in the entire game, besides a character that we're going to talk about here. Because remember, there are 4 new characters we need to talk about. 5 new characters we need to talk about. 5 new characters we're going to talk about today, including 6+ Carrot, who I forgot to include on last month's tier list. So there is that as well. I did forget to include Jack. 6+ Jack. Basically just got a huge buff. But we will talk about 6+ Jack. I did forget about him, but I'll include him next month. And just basically, he goes in the same category. Like, to be honest, he goes in the same category. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with that. Akainu, amazing captain because Driven's so good. Wano Law is like... If anything, like, you could argue, like, Wano Law, like, you could move to amazing. Just sort of the same reason that Luffy Sanji's there. But, like, Law just has infinite value in so many areas of the game. He's amazing in PvP. He's amazing for forests. He's amazing for regular content. This, like, he's one of the most valuable characters in the game. Like, honestly, like, I struggle whenever I'm building teams to, like, pick between these 2 Laws. Depends on what I'm doing. But, like, if I'm going to put... Like, I do think he's actually better than Verse Shanks. So, like, if Verse Shanks is, like, here, I do need to keep Wano Law in the God tier. But if you want to make an argument that Wano Law's here, like, let's be real. Like, he's so good. He's so damn good. Alright. Taking a look at the tier list, I think I'm pretty happy with the rest of this. So we have made a few changes. I am going to slowly just sort of scroll through it for you guys before we talk about the new characters. So, if we scroll through, we have Ace Sabo and Roger at the top. We have Vivi, Straw Hats, Wano Law, Super Type Law, Verse Whitebeard, Ace, and Akainu, and Shanks Crew in God tier. In the amazing category, by the way, this Vivi, I'm keeping her in God tier because, like, her captain shooter is special one, and she has an amazing Super Type. Free Spirit, Cerebrals, and Strength, in my opinion, is better than Powerhouse Cerebrals in Int. As good as it is, don't get me wrong, as good as it is, I think that she's just way better than Reiju. I guess you could say, like, that for Reiju. Like, you definitely could say that for Reiju, I guess. And then you could probably, like... You could probably argue like this for me, like kind of thing with cerebral characters and whatnot. But like, let's be real. Like, yeah, if you're running cerebral teams, these guys are always going to be supports. Like, always supports. But yeah, for me, Reiju, like, I'm only ever using Reiju when there's poison. Like, that's basically it. The ST Captain's Lucci. Sorry, back to Vivi. We have Straw Hats, Wano Law. We have, no, we're on to Amazing. Wow, I lost my place. Apologies, guys. Amazing, we have Verse Shanks, we have the Super Type Kid, we have the Onigashima Luffy, Verse Big Mom, Luffy Sanji, Toki, really, really good unit, the Capone Pirates, or the Fire Tank Pirates, we have Sugar, and we have the, Verse Kaido. Verse Kaido, I guess, like, I only really run Verse Kaido as a captain, so I'm gonna drop Verse Kaido into S tier captain. I do not think he's as good as Lucci, so, like, yeah, like, let's put him in S tier captain. He's definitely nowhere near as good as Lucci. Verse Big Mom, however, like, as a captain, can work just nicely because she's int. She has that, like, in her kit. And her captain really is way better than Kaido's. Straight up. Don't even at me. Lucci, S tier captain. Kaido, S tier captain. Reiju, S tier captain. Combination King and Queen is absolutely awesome. These guys got a huge buff at the moment because of some characters we're going to talk about at the end. We have Marco. Marco is pretty good. Like, he has the overheal. Bonnie isn't it? Like, I love using Bonnie. If anything, like... Bonnie's like my favorite in captain to go to with like Verse Whitebeard. just because she can do things that no one else can. Odin, very, very good, if anything. And then super type Boa, her super typing is what's holding her an S tier captain in my eyes. S tier sub, you have Kizaru, V2 Vivi Rebecca, and Shira Sherry and Sanji putting the Christmas Legends. You have Germa, 6+ Germa, very, very good. Sub Mask, Luffy Sanji, Luffy Zora, I always do that. Chopper, V1 Vivi Rebecca, Sabo Koala. Sabo Koala, honestly, I don't really use Sabo Koala that much anymore. But in saying that, they still remove all the color orbs are unfavorable. And like when that works, it works. They still have 2.25 tons attack boost to Free Spirit and Cerebrals as well, which is pretty good. And Orb Manipulation, which is great. Color Affinity on their Switch. Yeah, they're S tier. We'll keep them there. Jumanji. Jumanji, yeah, they're still S tier because they remove Special Bond on themselves. It's really, really good. And Powerhouses are so damn strong. They have that Chain Multiplier buff. And then obviously Corazon and Rayleigh, they speak themselves to their utility. A tier captain, we've got Kaido, Magellan, the German 66 Sanji. Like, I'm not a fan of this Sanji, like, honestly. Like, you could easily argue to me that he's an S tier captain. Like, you could argue to me that he's an S tier captain, and I think we will put him there to give him the credit. Because he's a 5 times captain. Like, let's be real. Like, he's a 5 times captain with Psy, Free Spirit, and Fighters. His special's quite good because you can be an orb booster, you can be an attack booster. He can extend, like he can boost that, and it's for 4 turns. So like, he's definitely better than like all of these characters here. So like, yeah, we'll put him up in S tier captain, I guess. With Moria's really good. Kaido, Zoro, Halloween Law, Halloween Mihawk, and Super Type Luffy. In the A tier subs, we have Bardo Cavendish. We have Pudding, we have the Dex Sabo 6+, Komurasaki, Onami, what's his name? Garp. Honestly, I kind of want to move these two up here. Because of their hybrid capabilities, I do think that Snake Man's better than Sabo though, like infinitely better. Honestly, I think Snake Man's infinitely better than all these characters. So let's move him up into S tier captain. Yeah, let's move him up to, just because he's super type so good. Let's move him into, like, if Boa's there for her super typing, we can put Luffy there for his super typing. These guys here are, yeah, they're definitely they're AT captains. Because you can still run them, like, easily. Like, you could easily still run them. I do think, like, Zoro's better than Kid, but, like, if you already have an orb booster that you need that does utility or whatever, like, Kid's going to be a better sort of option for an attack booster. Luffy and Law, you're only ever really using them as a sub nowadays. Same with Mihawk, Perona. Solid hybrid, Bullet, Akainu, Sweet 3, V3 Katakuri, Halloween Shanks. Yeah, like all these characters here are very, very good. I kind of want to move Nami Robin into AT sub because of their paralysis removal. Makes them very, very good. Very, very good. Like, very, very good. Versace has utility. Katakuri has that delay mechanic. And Stampede Luffy for paralysis and despair. This Luffy is really, really good still, but you're never really running this Luffy as like a solid hybrid. You're pretty much running him only when you have when you need the carryover effect of the orb. So we'll put him in content where content where content requires him to. Komurasaki, I guess you could say, is a solid hybrid option nowadays. Quick is sort of dropped off in terms of like their free spirits and slashes and stuff like that, but it is what it is. And then we've already been through all of this. So let's take a look at the new characters now. Alright, first of all, we have 6+ Carrot. 6+ Carrot got a fairly big buff with her captain ability. Mainly because she still goes through barriers and stuff, but you don't need the 2 classes. So as long as you have one of the classes and then she changes into a captain, it just works really, really nicely. As that way you don't have to worry about the whole team building aspect. She still has her special reverse, which is awesome. Really, really good option as a captain. I do think that she's like mainly used as a sub, but like the whole idea is she switches into captain, right? And that's why you're using her. Very similar to like the German unit. You're mainly using them now for their captain swap ability, but with the Carrot, you're using her to become captain, and when she's a captain, she's a speed captain too. So she's kind of like Germa, but kind of like very different as well. Still going through barriers, still going through damage reduction, and threshold is awesome, awesome, awesome. Definitely an A tier captain, very, very nice. The other 6+ that got a character that got 6+ this month is Jack. Jack, in my eyes, is still when content requires. You're only ever really running Jack for XP, but now he's a chain locker as well, which just sort of helps those teams a little bit. Doesn't really change too much else. But it just means that you can kind of run him elsewhere. He's so good in PvP. Like, this Jack is he's a staple on the strength team. He's better than Kuma. But he's 6+. As good as it is, like, you're not, if anything, like, he's going down a rare recruit tier, you know? But because, like, you want to use him for XP, he's still, like, the content requires situation. Alright, scrolling down now. These particular characters, like, I can't, I should probably remove them if I can figure out a way to. Let's take a look at the newest characters released, which was the start of the month. We had Yamato and we had Page 1 Ulti. Very, very, very good characters. Excellent characters, in my opinion. Now, Yamato is another last tap character. We will talk about her in a second because she did get a 6+. But I do want to talk about Page 1 Ulti first. Page 1 Ulti, they're going straight up into God tier. They have a super swap, so they do the very similar to like Viva Rebecca. You start at the 1.6 going up to 35 times chain lock, which is really, really good because was a new mechanic introduced in Japan where you can only do a certain amount of damage when you go past the chain threshold. And these guys here are the wizards of doing that, like the absolute wizards. So very, very good switch. They have a super switch to start at 2.5 going upwards. They remove paralysis on themselves as well. And then their special. Their special is an interesting one. They do damage. They make all orbs matching. Like, they give you a full board orbs. Which is really, really good. Because then you can use, like, Dofi support. Because they're driven. Which is awesome. But, they have a new mechanic. If the enemy has over 10 million HP, they give a new conditional boost against a super boss. So, they give the little super boss that little skull and crossbones. And then they give you a 2.25 conditional boost against that. And it goes through full immunity. Bruh. These guys here are the best driven and powerhouse captain in my game, like powerhouse captain, besides one other character we're going to talk about. But that's kind of like a Cozy situation. They do end of turn damage with their captain. They make recovery and tandem orbs matching. They're so good. If you have this unit, be very, very happy for stuff like Kazuna. For regular content where you just need to like slap on someone that can be like a chain locker for you, as well as a conditional boost. As long as the enemy has 10 million HP, which is so easy to do. To put in retrospect, Dofi 2, both of them have 10 million HP. All hard content, these guys are going to be good. I've done a showcase on them. Literally all you need is like their special. And if you partner them up with the new release of the Super SUGO Yamato, they work really, really nicely. This Yamato, in my opinion, is a broken unit. Straight up. Driven Int Striker Captain. 5 times with a Wano Orb. And 4.5 times otherwise, I'm pretty sure. But, if you are below 50% HP, it gives 20% damage reduction. And increases the chain multiplier by 0.2 times, I think. And then her special rotates block orbs and rotates matching orbs into Wano, very similar to Odin, but it's just way better. She gives like a 1.2 chain buff, and then her super typing, as long as you have a chain buff or a chain multiply mechanic, you use that and you give that 0.25 chain multiply buff as well, which stacks with her captain ability if you're under 50%. So damn good. And you can easily just run like the Whitebeard ship and you're automatically at that. So good. Like, so freaking good. She's an incredible unit. The only thing that really lets her down is the striker tag, but obviously, like, strikers are going to see a little bit more resurgence. And they have a lot of options. Like, they have, this right here. V2 Shirishari. Amazing unit. Really, really good. They have, this guy. This guy right here. He's a striker. They have this guy right here. Really, really good options. So, Yamato, very, very good. She also has the ability to remove 10 turns of bind, which she's the first character to have that in her captain ability. Ridiculous. Like, that is actually ridiculous. 10 turns of bind. I have done showcases on this particular character. She's really, really good, but she did get a 6+ alongside her, and the skulls are really easy to get. They're like 10 Rayleigh points, I think, or 100 Rayleigh points, something like that. But her 6+ basically is her without the mask. They turned her into a Psy unit, and I think she's just as good. I'm still undecided which Yamato I like more. The big difference between them is she stopped being a driven character and she became a free spirit character, which is really, really cool because free spirit's really, really good and Psy is really, really good as well, but she has to compete with this guy. They do two very different things, don't get me wrong. She's a 1.3 chain boost. She still has the same super typing. She still rotates orbs the same way that this one does. But her captain ability, basically, she goes up to 5 times. provided you hit your perfects. So she has more reliable damage than this Yamato, but this Yamato has more damage output. The thing about this Yamato, though, is this Yamato here has access to this character and has access to this character, which is absolutely monstrous. She also has access to the Fire Team Pirates as well, who's a massive attack boost. But in saying that as well, this Yamato here, the 6+, has access to this guy, 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 has access to this. So you can see where I'm going with this. This Yamato's an in booster, this Yamato's a side booster as well. The 6+ Yamato has access to this as well. So, like, you can see where I'm going with this, how they are pretty parallel. And the good thing is you can bounce between them. They're both amazing in Rumble as well. Very, very powerful characters in Rumble. And very, very powerful in regular play. So if you pulled this super, the final tap Yamato, be very, very happy. The last thing we haven't spoken about when it comes to this Yamato is their final tap. Or her final tap, I should say. These Yamatos, their final tap doubles the chain multiplier at level 5 on the final tap. Doubles it. That's why, like, this character can get so much damage output, because you can use Sugar. You get the 1.3 or 1.2 conditional boost, like, chain boost. You get the 0.25 in her super type. You get her captain ability multiplying into that. Then you have the 0.7 from Sugar. And then you can get the conditional boost here. Like, it's bonkers what this Yamato's numbers are. Like, absolutely wild. And she has 1 orbs too, like, busted. It's so busted. So ridiculously busted. Very, very good unit. You can chop and change between the two of them, but I do want to put them both in broken, just because they are both very, very good. I still think Roger's the best character in the game. Ace Sabo, I guess you could make an argument it's like this order, but for me, I think Ace Sabo is a little bit nicer, just for, like, clearing content at a more consecutive rate. Yamato obviously has a lot more speed, but in terms of consistency, I do think Ace Sabo is better. So that's the order in terms of the best 3 characters in the game, in my opinion. These two here you can interchange. Like, they're the same for me. Obviously, they're the same unit, so, like, that's why I'm making that argument. Talking about the 2 newest legends that did release over on the Japanese side of the game now, we do have Boa and Perona. And let's be real, you're summoning for these units for their artwork. Straight up. You're straight up summoning for the artwork. Don't try and convince me you're not. Like, yeah, you're not. Everyone knows it. It's okay to admit it. Their artwork is fire. So, let's talk about the Perona first. The Perona is an interesting one. The Perona is a really interesting one. Mainly because, like, I want to put her... Oh, I'm not a big fan of these units. I don't think they're very good. I don't think they're very good at all. I kind of want to put her down here in A tier captain. I do think she's much better than all these other characters, though. She has no utility in her kit, though, which kind of lets her down a lot. But she is a free spirit shooter in character. She boosts the attack of in shooter and free spirit characters by 4 times, HP by 1.3, and if they're inflicted with negative effect, the enemy boosts the attack of against all enemies against negative by 1.3, and boost the attack against delayed enemies, reduce defense, and poison enemies by 1.25 otherwise. So, if the enemy has negative, she's like a 4 times 1.3, which I think is around like a 5.2 or something like that, or a little bit higher. Otherwise, she's like 5.2 if you have... But you got to have those conditions, and then she's a 4 times captain otherwise. It's just not great. It's just really not that great. When it works, like, when she works, she's pretty good. But, like, honestly, I'd rather run, like, lore. Her special, though, is actually pretty decent. And that's where most of these 2 characters are going to see play. She changes badly matching empty block, bomb, recovery 10, and G-orbs into matching orbs. Boosts the attack against delayed enemies and inflicted with negative effect. Enemies to reduce defense, poison enemies by 2 times for 3 turns, and locks the chain multiplier at 3.25 for 3 turns. If your HP is below 80% at the time the special is activated, ignoring debuff protection inflicts enemies with negative for 1 turn, and then if the crew has a chain lock, she's going to extend that by 0.5 and increase the chain lock multiplier limit or chain boundary effects by 1 turn. So, honestly, I am going to put her up in S tier sub, just because she is a guaranteed conditional boost. When you're below 80%. She just has to compete with Mihawk Perona, though, and, like, honestly, you're probably only going to use this chick as a sub. Like, that's the bottom line. 4 times captain is just too low. It's just too low nowadays, and, like, all these guys here being 5 times captains, yeah, it is what it is. But the fact that she can be a guaranteed conditional boost is great. Her, super typing ignores debuff protection and inflicts enemies with negative effect for 10 turns. Sounds good on paper, but, like, it doesn't carry into the next turn, so, like, it's only on 1 enemy, which just makes it really, really hard to use. Or it's only good for, like, 1 use. She changes all like colored orbs into matching orbs, and then turns into super in characters. So not a terrible unit, but not an amazing unit for what we've seen nonetheless. So Perona I do think is the best out of like the Boa and the Perona, but like I said, she's not all that. I just want to quickly check this Sanji, by the way. Yeah, that's Sanji's 5 times captain. We'll make him he's an S tier captain. Definitely S tier. The Mugiwara Sanji. Alright, moving on to the Boa now. The Boa, honestly, in my eyes, is in the same boat. While I do think Perona's better, I do think they both sort of fall into the same category of S tier sub, because that's where you're basically going to be using them most of the time, right? Boa is a free spirit shooter quick captain. She's going to boost the attack of shooter and free spirit characters by 5 times, HP by 1.2, and applies the mellow merit abilities by 7 hits after each turn that you take. So, honestly, I think she's, like, as a captain, she's a much better captain than Perona is. She's a much better captain than what Perona is. Like, not even a question about it. Most of the time, I still think that you're going to use her as a sub, just because of her special. But, like, she's definitely usable as a captain. 5 times captain flat rate is definitely nothing to scoff at. The fact that she can give the Mero ability, it doesn't go through full immunity, which kind of cucks her. But, it's definitely great for stalling. And, it kind of makes this Boa special, like, a little bit more redundant. This Boa has a much better super typing, though. Like, a much better super typing. Sorry about that. If we take a look at her special, she removes silence, attack down by 6 turns, boost the base attack of quick, shooters, and free spirit characters by 1,000. For that reason, I really like her special for that reason, for the 2 turns. I love base stat boosts. They're very, very good, and she's the only quick character that can actually do it, besides, like, Luffy, I guess. She locks the chain multiplier by 3.5 for 2 turns, and if the crew has a base attack boost already, she's going to increase that base attack boost by 1 turn. Now, that's not really going to see too much play at the moment, because free spirits, shooters, they don't have base attack boosters. Quick doesn't have any base attack booster either, so there's no real reason to be using her on a team where there's, like, she's not getting that buff. I don't know, you might just use her for her utility. But, yeah, her captain's just way better than Perona's. Her special, honestly, like, not as good as Perona's in my eyes. But, like, you might see more play because of its utility value. Her super special, you just have to be a captain for 7 turns. Just needs, like, to pass. Like, it's not hard to get. It's one of the easiest super types to get as well. She heals 15,000, inflicts the Mero ability for 10 turns, and transforms all quick characters into super quick. The downside to this is it doesn't go through full immunity, which for me is a bit of a head scratcher, because they gave, like, Perona, like, going through full immunity. So I just don't understand why they didn't make the super typing of Boa go through full immunity. Like, it just don't make too much sense to me, but Bandai does Bandai things, right? So that's going to wrap up the tier list, guys. We've pretty much talked about all the new characters. I hope you guys enjoyed the, like, new format of the tier list. Let me know if you what you guys thought of it. I do obviously have to scroll, like, through it a little bit more for you guys. It makes it hard if you guys want to check the end. But like I said, I will slap a picture of this up now. I will export a picture for you guys if you want to pause it at the end of the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and smash that like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lates!